Wonderful speaker today who will be introduced, Carole Wood, who will be introduced by Eric in just a minute. For those who have questions, please hold them until the end. We can I'll ask you guys later on, for those online, put them in the chat room, and we'll make this as interactive as we can. That being said, Eric, would you mind stepping up here and do your job? Thank you.
I want to do my job. Well, Timo just gets right to the point, doesn't he? So Carole Wood is the president and CEO of Northwestern Settlement House, a nonprofit organization in Westtown. Their mission is to disrupt generational poverty by supporting, preparing, and empowering young people at distinct stages of life to break down barriers on their paths to success in adulthood. They do that by serving over 7,000 people annually through a charter school, food pantry, bilingual mental health services, early childhood education, after-school programming, an outdoor education program, and a summer camp in Wisconsin. Carole was previously vice president at National Louis University, vice chancellor at City Colleges, director of development at Link Unlimited, which, for those of you who were at the meeting a few weeks ago, you know that this club is entering into a partnership with them. Carole serves on the boards of numerous philanthropic organizations, which are listed in the gyrator, as well as the board of the Union League Club, which is where we serve together and how I know Carole. She's also chair of the Public Affairs Committee here at the Union League Club, something worth noting because we're going to work together on a few of our programs this year. And so with that, please welcome Carole Wood.
Well, thank you, Eric, and thank you to all of you for having me here today. I'm very excited to tell you a little more about Northwestern Settlement, although I think Eric has actually told you everything you need to know. So I'm really honored that you all have taken the time to be here today and learn a little more about us. And as Eric shared with you, I am the CEO of Northwestern Settlement, a role that I have been in for just over a year, literally a year and like 3 days today. And so I'm going to tell you more about our organization and programs and how we really hope to evolve into the settlement house for the 21st century. So next slide, please. So for just over 130 years, Northwestern Settlement has worked to disrupt generational poverty by supporting children and families from our home base in the Westtown neighborhood. And we're proud of our history as the longest continuously operating settlement house in the country and the largest settlement house in Chicago. And while we celebrate our past, we're really focused on our future. So what does it actually take to disrupt generational poverty in the 21st century? And that is the question that we grapple with every single day. So our founders believed that education, social supports, and community were the keys to upward mobility in society. And at the time, that was certainly true. And we know now that while those things continue to be important and play a role, we also know that it takes more than that to lift people out of poverty. So in 2017, the Pew Family Research Center said that 1 in 3 people of color in this country is born into poverty. So Northwestern Settlement is really working to help lift people from that space. So if you will, imagine a city in which every child receives a high-quality free education in a safe environment, and a city in which families make a living wage and can support themselves without working multiple jobs to make ends meet, where kids can have experiences beyond their communities and not face the constant fear or threat of gun violence. A city where no family faces insecurity, and one in which every person has their healthcare and mental health care needs met. This is the future we envision at Northwestern Settlement and what we aspire to achieve through our work. So beginning in London in the late 19th century, The settlement movement aimed to bring people of different backgrounds together, both through location and socialization. Settlement houses were established, usually in poor industrial neighborhoods, to provide resources to their neighbors, including daycare, education, housing, and health services. And the movement spread to the United States, and Northwestern Settlement was founded shortly thereafter. Our early work really focused on healthcare and nutrition for neighbors, education for young children, workplace safety, and paving streets, among other important social supports at the time. And over the years, we've really adapted to meet the needs of our changing community. We have deep connection to the history and community in our families, but in our minds, if we served someone as a child, and now their children are in our programs and accessing our services, so we've not done our job. So disrupting generational poverty means just that. Moving forward, we're committed to achieving real measurable outcomes that demonstrate that we're moving the needle on that goal. And so Northwestern Settlement families are diverse in both background and experience. Our programs provide services to alleviate challenges faced by working class families across the city. So our families, while we are located in Westtown, we serve 74 of 77 community areas in Chicago. And the issues we address today may be different than they were 130 years ago, but our belief is that a multi-layered approach to supporting families is what's needed so that they can actually thrive. So here's a little more information about our families and programs. So our programs have grown and evolved, and we're always looking for ways to provide a high level of service for existing families while looking for ways to expand our programs beyond the families that we currently serve and to have deeper impact. And as you can see on this slide, so actually go back one slide. Okay. So as you can see on this slide, we have a wide reach, but we know families in Chicago need the services we provide now, perhaps more than ever, especially as we continue to face the COVID-19 pandemic. And we believe that each of these programs has room to grow and that demand for services supports that growth. So next slide. Okay, one more. Okay. So Northwestern Settlement operates Rowe School, a K-8 charter school located on 2 campuses in the Westtown neighborhood. We currently serve 842 scholars from neighborhoods across the city. And the relationship between Rowe and the Settlement House is what really sets Rowe apart from other charter schools in the city. And we're working to build on this unique connection and ensure that our scholars and families are benefiting from all the services the Settlement has to offer. We're fortunate to have an engaged board of directors, which includes former educators and school administrators who share my commitment to making sure that we provide our scholars with the best education possible and that they're positioned for success in high school and beyond. And we're in the early stages of developing a continuous improvement work plan for Rowe, which we hope will enhance our curriculum, expand extracurricular activities, better leverage connection to and use of our House in the Woods summer camp and outdoor education program, and create partnerships throughout the city that will benefit our scholars and families. So I was super excited earlier today to learn about your work with Link Unlimited, because I certainly can see a partnership there. And additionally, we believe Rowe can be a school that's responsive to the immediate needs of children and families impacted by geopolitical issues around the globe. We currently have several Spanish-speaking families and have bilingual staff in all of our facilities. All of our communication to families is provided in English and Spanish, and we're working with our teachers and school personnel to provide professional development to better equip them to support scholars from a variety of backgrounds and life circumstances. We've also received several inquiries over the last several months from families of Ukrainian refugees who have or are relocating to Chicago and need to enroll their children in school. We want Rowe to be a welcoming place where children from all backgrounds can feel safe and supported. So next slide. And as we discuss Northwestern Settlement in 2022 and beyond, our early childhood education program is critical to our long-term vision. We know that early childhood education is vital to children's social, emotional, physical, and cognitive development, and that it builds a strong foundation for successful educational outcomes and overall well-being later in life. We also know that high-quality, affordable early childhood care is crucial to families' ability to not only thrive, but survive. Families need a safe, clean place for their children to be on a daily basis so that they can go to work. We currently have early childhood classrooms in both of our main locations at 1400 West Augusta, as well as our K-5 school building. And by forging continuity between our early childhood K-8 and after-school programs, we can better serve children and families and make a lasting positive impact on their lives. We currently serve about 100 children through our early childhood programs. So next slide. Our food pantry is located in the original settlement house at 1400 West Augusta Boulevard. And as you saw on the earlier slide, it had over 14,000 visits in 2021. Pre-pandemic, it was estimated that approximately 35 million people in America faced hunger, and that number rose to an estimated 45 million during the pandemic. Unfortunately, the issue of food security is not going away, especially as we see food costs soaring. So while remaining forward-thinking, we are also focused on more immediate concerns, such as the impact of supply chain disruptions and the need for culturally inclusive food in our pantry to better serve our current population. The food pantry is about more than just providing food. It really embodies the settlement ethos of nurturing the families we serve. Pre-pandemic, we prepared 30 turkeys and hosted a large sit-down dinner for Thanksgiving. After COVID hit, we distributed over 800 Thanksgiving dinners to families in the community. We host a holiday toy room, run and adopt a family program around the holidays, and provide our families with the opportunity to celebrate without being encumbered by whatever circumstances they may be facing. In addition to the food pantry, this program also provides a number of other services for families and individuals in need, including job placement, resume coaching, health and nutrition services, flu shot clinics and COVID clinics, and much more. And we hope to not only continue to offer these services moving forward, but to expand them beyond our current location. So our next slide. So after school care through Northwestern Settlement is available almost every day of the year, providing care before or after school, on off days during the school year, and during the summer months. The environment focuses on both school readiness and recreational activities for children ages 5 to 12. Participants receive social emotional support, academic guidance from staff, in addition to nutritious snacks or meals, a variety of activities, homework help, and the opportunity to participate in various interest-based clubs. Beginning in 2022, we'll be expanding our youth services to include teen programming. Research supports the need for quality after-school programming, particularly in poorer communities where young people are faced with higher rates of juvenile crime. After-school programs are proven to encourage safety, prevent juvenile crime and violence, and improve academic performance. Beyond the direct benefits to the children and young adults, high-quality, reliable childcare is critical to the success of working families, as well as to the overall development of children and young adults. By building out our educational programs and creating cohesive culture, suite of care and services throughout childhood and into the teen years, we can make a significant difference in the lives of children and families and their ability to thrive. So next slide. So all the programs I've already told you about are really important, but we know that if we really intend to improve the lives of those we serve, we have to address the mental health crisis that is plaguing our families and communities. It's estimated that over 60% of youth with major depression do not receive any mental health treatment. And even in states with the greatest access to mental health care services, nearly 1 in 3 are going without treatment. Additionally, nearly 25% of adults with mental illness report an unmet need for treatment. And this number has not declined since 2011. While rates of mental health treatment are low for all youth with major depression, youth of color, which make up a majority of the population served by Northwestern Settlement, are significantly less likely to receive depression treatment than white youth. The Family Care Center partners with Children's Home and Aid to provide free, bilingual, on-site mental health counseling and family wellness services to members of the settlement community. Family care services are available in English and Spanish. Therapists are sensitive to all sexual orientations, gender identities, and cultural values. They work closely with Rose School to serve clients who are also scholars and support children and families facing a variety of mental health challenges. And Megan Borowski, our director of our mental health services, is here with us today as well. In addition to on-site mental health counseling, Family Cares operates Camp Mariposa Chicago, an addiction prevention and mentoring program for youth who've been impacted by substance abuse in their families. Mariposa is offered free of charge to all families. Campers participate in fun traditional camp activities combined with education and support exercises led by mental health professionals and trained mentors. Family Cares also operates Camp Aaron, a free program for children and teens who are grieving the death of a close, significant person in their life. Camp Aaron combines traditional camp experiences with grief support activities to provide hope and healing. So as we plan for the future, we know the need for Family Cares and the services it offers will only increase. We intend to continue to grow and adapt while also looking for opportunities to make sure that we're better addressing the needs of our community, families, and scholars along the way. Next slide. So one of the initial draws for me to Northwestern Settlement was our summer camp. I don't know if any of you remember your first experience at Sleepaway Camp, but I certainly remember mine. It broadened my horizons, introduced me to new people and activities, and opened my mind to life and experiences away from home and family. Ultimately, it set me up to consider and go after opportunities outside of my comfort zone well into adulthood. So my parents sent me to Sleepaway Camp for 3 weeks when I was 7 to a gymnastics camp. And the best thing about gymnastics camp was I learned that I did not like gymnastics, but I loved horses. And so that really set me on the path to meet new people and try new things. So more than 80 years ago, Northwestern Settlement founded House in the Wood Camp with the help of one of our auxiliary boards, which still operates today. House in the Wood provides outdoor education and summer camp to children from many neighborhoods throughout Chicago. Rose scholars, Family Cares clients, and early childhood education participants and their families. Students get to deeply connect with nature, approach new experiences, and challenge their curiosity. And as we look to the future, we hope to connect even more of our scholars and families to summer camp and all of its benefits. Again, part of what makes Northwestern Settlement unique is our wide array of programs and offerings. If we can better integrate these programs and create a truly transformational experience for our young people, we can have a real lasting impact on their lives. So I want to thank you again for taking the time to be here today and learn a little more about Northwestern Settlement. And I know that you guys do such important work, and so we're just so honored to be a part of that today. And I am happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Mike, my voice is loud enough. But first of all, okay.
Make sure that the audience is for questions.
Very good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the great work you're doing. Let's start with the questions here in the room. I have one, but I'm looking at the room to not be shy for once and actually ask a question, which I know you have. So, anybody in the room here? Yes, sir.
What do you learn in summer camp? You get to go fishing, swimming?
Hold on. I'm coming to you. Right. She makes me speak into this. You do the same.
All right. What do you learn at summer camp? Do you get to go fishing, swimming in the lake? What else do you do? Just a couple ideas.
So there's tree climbing and archery, swimming and boating, outdoor survival skills, and lots of arts and crafts as well.
Great question. Sarah?
Thank you. So I apologize if you said this at the beginning and I missed it, but kind of a two-part question, if I may. How do you... Okay, I'll leave. How do you get the students into your program? Are they recruited, or how does that work?
For the school specifically, or?
Well, yes, I guess so.
So we're a charter school. So that means that our school program is open to any resident of the city of Chicago. The majority of our students come from Belmont, Cragen, and Humboldt Park, so we actively recruit in those communities. And then the majority of our campers actually are not from those communities. That is really sort of word of mouth. We've got folks who've been coming to camp for 10 plus years.
Okay, so I definitely must have missed something at the beginning. So all of the students who are at that school are part of your program?
Yes.
I see.
So just for context, so Northwestern Settlement, we operate Row Charter School. So everybody who's a part of Row Charter School has access to all of the services and programs that we offer.
And then the students that go to the camp are also considered at risk?
Yes. So the camp, everybody who participates in our programs is essentially moderate to low income. And so the people who attend camp are considered moderate to low income and potentially at risk as well.
Okay, so this brings me to my actual question.
Okay.
So I find it very interesting when you hear about young people getting arrested for major crimes, like 11-year-old carjackers, for example. And I just wonder, how can programs like this get to that demographic, either after they've already committed the crimes or before, to try to prevent things like that with the youngest demographic delinquents?
So great question. I would say our goal is to engage young people before they commit the crime. So part of our renewed focus on before school, after school, and teen programming is really about that, right? So we know that the majority of young people are the either perpetrators or victims of crime between 3 and 7 p.m. And so what we know is by offering more after school and out of school time programming, we should help get to them before they commit crime. We do not currently run programs for people who are already part of the juvenile justice system, but it's something that we certainly could consider. I'd also say that our family cares work and all of the mental health support that we're providing, we're certainly involved in restorative justice work. And so we try to infuse that across our programs to make sure that the students that we touch are not the perpetrators of crime.
Yes, Eric.
Which of your programs would you say you guys need the most help with? And then, since we are a service organization, how could you see Rotary potentially helping with those?
Great question. So,
You read my notes, by the way.
So I would answer that in two ways. I mean, we always need help with all of our programs, right? So we're a relatively small organization trying to serve a lot of people. But I would say volunteerism is a huge piece of where we're trying to expand. And so we're always looking for volunteers and mentors in the schools, right? So after school programming, volunteers and mentors at the camp, if people are ever interested in going to the camp, either for a day. The camp is about an hour and a half away, right outside of Lake Geneva. So, if you wanted to come to camp for the day as a volunteer or mentor, just help get camp ready for the next group. So we're always looking for volunteers and mentors, and we're always looking for after school support or enrichment. So if you have a specific interest and you want to run a group for young people, we're definitely open to that as well.
Maybe we can talk about the turkey
Great.
Thanksgiving thing, Sarah, with your committee, right?
Yeah.
So the success of these organizations always depends on good funding and the future of all these efforts. How are you funded? What are the challenges? Can you talk about that?
Sure. So, as crass as it sounds, if you're at a nonprofit and you guys know it, sort of like no money, no mission, right? So we spend a lot of our time thinking about how do we fund the programs and who else can we ask for money? So we're funded in a couple ways. Charter schools are publicly funded. So we are funded through reimbursement based on enrollment by the Board of Education, right? By the Chicago Public School System for the charter school. But we also raise private philanthropy. And so we have a development department that works with us to try to raise private philanthropy in the form of, grants, individual donations, things like that. We also are very fortunate. We have a very engaged governing board, and we have 3 extremely engaged auxiliary boards. And so our auxiliary boards host events for us and help us raise money as well. We're always looking for additional sources of support.
Any other questions here in the room? I'm on my way.
Hi. I would like to know more about the funding you receive from CPS and how do you respond to CPS as a charter school? Because that is always, in the news about charter schools, and I have seen Rhodes as part of the CPS charter schools. So how do you see the differences between the school in this neighborhood versus other schools that are in the system of CPS currently?
Sure. So, we believe really strongly that the differentiator for our school is the settlement house. So if you think about your local neighborhood school and all the resources that school either has or needs, right, depending on the community that you live in. So if you're in a high net worth community, your school has after school programs and it's got nurses and social workers and, high school support and college readiness and all these things. The majority of Chicago public schools, if they're in a lower income neighborhood, they may not have those things. So we see that settlement house is really the differentiator for our school because we use that to offer those services. And then in terms of the funding, we are funded on a per pupil basis. So currently we have roughly 832 students. So we are funded from CPS on a per pupil basis. CPS funding is never enough, right? So we always are going to be looking for additional philanthropic support, particularly as we've seen the need of our students increase sort of because of the pandemic and because we are seeing much higher rates of differentiated learners. And so because of that, we always need additional resources. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
Okay.
I just was thinking more about Casa Central role or something.
Mm-hmm. Right, and so we see Casa Central and Erie Neighborhood House and Associate Christopher House. We see those as great partners doing similar work. The reality is there's enough work for all of us to do, and I certainly don't see them as competition in any way. We want to partner with them and work with them because we're all serving sort of young people and families that need our support.
Great. I know there's a question online. Is there anybody else here who might have a question? Let's just go online real quick. I know that Marshall, you had a question. Unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you very much. This is very interesting. I want to follow up on your answer to Eric's question and just to ask a practical question. If someone wants to volunteer for one of your programs, how do they go about doing it and where can they go to understand what volunteer opportunities are available?
Great question. So I think there are a couple ways that you could learn more about volunteer opportunities. One would be to just reach out to me directly, and Eric can certainly provide my contact information. The other would be to go to our website, although I'd have to be honest and say our website is a work in progress. We are in the process of upgrading it, and so it may not have all of the opportunities listed, but I think those are two easy places to reach us. The other thing I'd say about volunteer opportunities is, while I listed some, if you had a particular interest that you didn't see listed or that I've not mentioned, certainly feel free to let us know. We are open to other things. Those are just the things that sort of pop to mind today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, are there any other questions? I only see the chat room as in 7 chats. Is there any other question online? You guys? No? Well, Carol, any other questions here?
I think there's some in the chat box.
Oh, yeah. Then one question here in the room while we figure out the online question.
We were kind of talking, Dr. Nunez and I, as far as what can be given back from the students that are helped through the charter school. So for example, are there any activities where they deal with senior citizens at a nursing facility or at some type of hospital or some type of, or even for other kids that may be disabled, or interaction at, say, a children's hospital like Lurie? So are there any programs like that that you have to give back to the community?
So currently there are not, but I actually love that idea. Right now, we do ask people to give back by volunteering in our programs, right? So if you're an employee, we ask that you volunteer time in some of the other programs, and we ask students to do that, but I actually love the idea.
All right, so it sounds like there's no other question online. Carole, thank you very much for being here today and for this wonderful presentation. It's really insightful and inspiring. We have a tradition when somebody takes the time of their busy lives to come to us and talk, we'll say thank you by giving you a little thank you present. Unfortunately, because I'm new in this role, the present's not quite ready. Okay. It'll be shipped to you. Oh. It'll be a little Rotary cup. So when you have your morning tea or coffee, you can think of us. And after the third time you use it, I hope you consider a membership in our club.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
So thank you.
And finally, you can eat something. All right. Now I got two of these. Well, great. I think we've got a bunch of guests. Just great. Say again? Okay, was not for me. All right, I'd like to introduce our guests. Let's start with any visiting international Rotarians. I don't think anybody in the room. Maybe online? You guys see anybody out there? Well, then we go to the US Rotarians. Just tell us. Anybody will do it? No, you take the charge. Yeah, that's what you told me.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Katie Cox. I am a visiting Rotarian from Detroit. I currently sit on the Community and Grants Committee for Detroit Rotary Club. I am also a member of the Detroit Athletic Club where we meet. So I just transferred my membership here and I'm relocating here for work.
Well, welcome. That's great. Anybody else in the room? Great. Online, I can't see everybody, but if you are a visiting US Rotarian, okay, Brian Jackson, yep.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I'm a Rotarian, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I had the most recent pleasure of attending your Friday Roundtable event this last Friday, and I just want to say thank you to Eric and for the kind hospitality. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Great. Then we have, I guess, some guests. Those who are hosting guests, we've done, well, maybe Eric, you want to do that? The table here we kind of covered. Any other guests? Good. In that case, we're moving on in the timely fashion. We are on time. Moving on to the committees that we have. Starting with the International Service Committee, there are some updates. Seda, you want to join me for a second? Great.
All right, hi everybody. Glad to be here. Recently, I was just visiting my family in Turkey, and there's a club over there. It's called Rotary Kale İçi Kulübü. So that's a club that I regularly visit. And this time around, because it's summertime, I always go there. It's always been the first week of the president's meeting or the installation I attend. So I'm there at their first meeting and their last meeting. So it happened to be the same way. And then you can see on the next slide that there was quite a fun event they've done. A bunch of thanking us with our service as well. So beginning of this year, there was a project that the orphan girls in the area is supported by the Rotary Kale İçi Kulübü for their job education. So as an international services committee, we provided support to that project, and they were so honored and very appreciative of us. So they gave us a reward, and I'd like to give that to you, Timo. Here's a reward that it's been giving to us, and this is for our Rotary Club of Chicago, but also for the International Services Committee members for their trust in their projects. I was really honored to receive that, along with the flag that it's been giving to us. So thank you for all the support. It's very late, and the president has COVID. Actually, he was going to join us here online, but some other time. So
very good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you on behalf of the entire club, especially the members of the International Service Committee. You guys worked hard for these things, and it's well deserved. On behalf of that committee and on behalf of the club, will accept this. This is a great gift.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Super.
Here's the flag. And I just want to mention the president's name, if it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
The president, Hassan Ali Onai, and he's been really in tune of what we're doing, and he's done an amazing job over there last year. So congrats, and I like to congratulate the new president as well for upcoming year. So I'll be there, we'll be in touch, and they'll be coming with projects and presenting in our committee as well.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you. My friend Sarah, President nominee, you're up next with your update and report on the Community Services Committee.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So, okay, nice. I am, yes. So before I make our announcement about an upcoming initiative, Jody just gave me a very excellent idea. We have a dictionary project where we come to schools and we give dictionaries to third grade students. So it's not just a dictionary. I'm not selling it well enough. The dictionary has words and definitions, but also has maps of countries, maps of the United States. It lists all the state capitals, lists all the presidents. So it has a bevy of information in it. So if this is something that you might be interested in for your third grade classroom, I will connect with you. And then we come out to the schools and we give a dictionary to each of the students for them to keep. So they write their name in it and they get to take it home for themselves. So I will connect with you. Thank you to Jody for reminding me about that. But I am up here to talk to you about a new initiative that the Community Service Committee is starting that is an offshoot of our CPS grants. So with the new, relatively new, I suppose, focus of Rotary on the environment, I thought it might be a good idea for us to work on planting trees at the schools that earn our grants. So this would be an additional gift. We do the little libraries. We did 2 installation of those little libraries as well. But the thing is, so I had this idea, but don't really know how to do it. So I am putting a note out here to the membership for anyone who has a big green thumb and knows anything about the kinds of trees that might be good in the city of Chicago. If anyone has a nursery in the city that might be, that they like, please contact me. Wes and I are going to start with just a handful of schools to see if we can do this before we start offering it to all of our grant winners. So again, if anyone has an interest in helping out with this project, I would really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. So that's the opportunity for all of you. That's the opportunity for all of you hobby gardeners to step it up. All right. Great. Marshall, are you still there? You are up next with your report on Lincoln Limited, please.
So thank you very much, Timo. Before I do that, I did note that online we have Naren Soni, a very longtime member of the club who we haven't seen in a while. So it's really nice to see his name on the board there. In any event, Timo asked me to remind people of our newest initiative, which is the Link Unlimited partnership. And the bell tolls here. for me in the background. In any event, Link Unlimited is a program that has been helping children in Chicago for over 50 years. It is a mentorship program that is a 4-year commitment all through high school. And our own president-elect, Lita Williams, is an alum. And over the last several months, we've been working with Link Unlimited to unveil a program where a group of our club and members from the Chicago Southeast, Rotary Club of Chicago Southeast, are going to serve as mentors. And the idea is for our cohort of mentors to help these children, help introduce these children to Rotary and provide opportunities for them that they would not otherwise have. So we already have 11 members who have expressed an interest in being mentors. And I come to you today to ask for anyone else who's interested in doing the program to please get in touch with me. There is a training that's required and a vetting of both the mentors and the mentees. And that process has begun, and we need to get our names on the list. So anyone who's interested, if they could contact me, I'd really appreciate it. Tamara can post my phone number and email in the chat box. I'd really appreciate it. So thank you very much, Timo.
Thank you, sir. And for those who don't have his contact information, I'll be happy to facilitate that as well. All right. That being said, we've got upcoming meetings. Those will be, I guess, in the gyrator. So read those carefully. Some of them will be hybrid, some will be in person. We've got committee meetings that are coming up very shortly. And yep, there they are. All of that information is set forth in the gyrator. But I think more importantly, if we go to the upcoming meetings, and this is something I added that was not part of the script, Karen. On Saturday, there will be, well, some of us will meet in John Yuko's house to drive medical equipment from the house in Evanston to the organization that we partner with in support of Ukraine. So those who on Saturday afternoon have no better plans, have a small car, a big car, or a truck, please reach out to me and maybe Karen, we can coordinate who does what. To be honest, I don't know how much capacity we need, but just reach out and we'll figure out what's really required. And with that, I think we can go to that slide that lists the other activities. There's one more, and yeah, that's the one. All right, very good. So this stuff is also listed in the Alida, yes? Oh, hold on.
We also have a service project tomorrow at Breaking Bread Ministries, 1111 North Wells, where we'll be cooking meals for 200 homeless and seniors in the community. And also, which I forgot to put in the gyrator, I'm sorry, Sarah. We've started back our meals to seniors at Maple Point Apartments, in which we give out meals to our seniors at 5:30 every day, which will be posted soon. Thank you.
Thank you. While you're here, Alida? While you're here, in good old tradition, we're concluding our meeting with the four-way test. Would you lead us into the four-way test, please?
Sure.
All right. Will you please stand?
If everyone could stand. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And the unofficial number 5, we will have fun.
Yeah. Very good. With that, thanks to everybody online and for those in the room here. We conclude the meeting. Have a great afternoon. Thanks to all.